Welcome to the Church of Mabus radio show. It's Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Where the hell's our guest at?
Another Mercury retrograde coming in? Who knows?
This Lyon Zagami dude, he's been on Alex Jones. You're supposed to talk about the Illuminati. And I just wrote him and said, waiting on the link. And it wasn't that long ago. So he was saying he thumbs up me. So I sent it to him. And hopefully he shows up. I don't know what's going on. He's not even on Facebook. So Lyon Zagami, Illuminati show. So we were going to expose the Illuminati tonight. Hopefully we still are. Hopefully he'll show up. Not the one on Facebook that bothers you. You know, those guys, have you seen some of those dudes? What the hell?
Me? No, I haven't seen them.
There's these weird ones. My friends make fun of them. They contact you. It's usually in your private box. They're like, you want to join the Illuminati? We'll give you this or that, everything. And it's some weird, like, cult. And it ain't the real, I'm sure, like we said, it's not the real Illuminati. It's like a fake Illuminati. Like a cult, like some weird.
If the real guys came after you, we would never hear from anyone that they grabbed. You're not coming back.
Exactly. It'd be my labs and stuff. Yeah. Wake up in a room on truth serum. They probably just whack me from the first 2 minutes. But anyway, hopefully he shows up. So in the meantime, we're going to do a Church of Mabus Illuminati show. And it's spelled Illuminati. ILLUMINAUTHY. Did I spell that right? I think so.
NAUGHTY.
Yeah, there you go. We're so naughty we can't spell. It's an Illuminati. We're very naughty. Very naughty tonight. This is Christopher Walken. We're very naughty. We're going to do a Christopher Walken show tonight. The Christopher Walken show. I'm trying. I don't know. I may not be able to do
it. He's hard to do. He's got a weird, like, I don't know, North Boston accent or something like that.
Yeah, Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken. Just Christopher Walken. Cantaloupe. But anyway, hopefully this dude shows up. If he don't, he don't. Now, what the hell are we going to talk about? I don't know. Jay's just going to talk, and I'll just sit here.
We could talk about how the Illuminati grabbed him.
Maybe they grabbed him before he could get on air.
Yeah, and expose all their secrets.
Yeah, that's what happened. And they're going to rappel in right now and get us.
I don't know. I got a pretty secure ceiling. This house I bought was built in 1920, but it's pretty sturdy. It's all brick.
What about some of these crappy kids that call the police on gamers online, and the SWAT team comes in, and like some old dude had a heart attack? I forget what they call it. They call it something. But anyway, yeah, like you'll be online. Let's say you piss somebody off in Call of Duty. They somehow find out where you live, and they send the police to your house. You have a SWAT team come in. This one old dude, it's happened a lot. Wow. It's called something like swatting or something. But this old dude had it happen to him. He had a heart attack. Died.
Dude. Wow.
That's crazy. Just have them rappel in, and you're just like playing Call of Duty or Halo or something or whatever. And the police just come in, think you are a murderer or something, or kidnapper.
Or pedophile or something.
Yeah, whatever they lie about. It's crazy.
That's kind of nuts. I used to work at a movie theater back in the day in Rockville in the 80s. And some of the mall rats that used to come in and hang out throughout the day, their fun activity was taking firecrackers, which, by the way, are illegal in Maryland. And they would go across the street from the mall to where the old folks' home was and throw firecrackers and wait for ambulances to show up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, scaring people into heart attacks with firecrackers. What kind of fun is that?
People would think they were like guns, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't think it's guns, it's a loud, abrupt noise. If you've got a heart problem, it could stop your heart or give you a heart attack or something.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. We may have dust mites here. You ever had dust mites?
No, really, I haven't noticed a problem with them. I might have that here because the last few weeks or so I've had like I thought it was allergies, and then it turned into a pulmonary infection, a lung infection. It's going away now, but it's got to suck.
That's what I mean. They're little and they're like in your dust. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know 100%, but we are looking at symptoms and like, damn, maybe it's so. I've been feeling weak all the time and weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some blood pressure stuff, which I don't think that's from them. I don't know what that's from exactly, but the mites can make you feel I've been stuffed up like for months.
Yeah.
So there's like weird drainage, like all the symptoms that I had. I was like, damn, I hope I ain't got no dust mites. But they're coming to clean the vents, so that'll help them in spraying Lysol and all this crazy. But they're supposedly real easy to get, like crazy. And humidity, Florida's humid and all that, so definitely sucks. That's what it is. I don't know 100%, but it's about 90% dust mites, maybe.
Well, they're microscopic, so they can just like float through the air, and you just breathe them in. So
You might have them too.
Yeah.
You need to get Lysol and spray it. Clean all your bedding.
I don't have a whole lot of air conditioning here. I have only forced air heat. I don't have an outdoor air conditioning unit, but I do have window units. Maybe it's sucking them in from outside and throwing them into the house. I don't know.
That can probably happen. That's probably true. I mean, that's probably how they get in one way.
Mm-hmm.
Lysol kills them, it says. So get some of that Lysol.
It kills 99.9% of all things.
Illuminati. Where is this dude? Come on, man. This dude just like vanished.
He's not on my friends list, so I couldn't even look him up.
Well, Joe, if he doesn't show up, I'm going to send the. We're going to name the show Church of Mabus Illuminati, just like that. If you don't show up, it's in the chat. Church of Mabus Illuminati. There you go. You just do Church of Mabus Illuminati. But maybe he'll show up. I don't know. It's weird. It's not even showing him on Facebook.
He must have had a system crash or something. Maybe
the power went out. Maybe he's just like, hopefully he's not just a dick. But anyway, maybe he's kidnapped.
Yeah. Either kidnapped or his computer went down or who knows.
He's been on Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a dick.
Is he? I've never talked to the dude.
Alex Jones, but you know who it is.
No.
You don't know who Alex Jones is.
No, not really. I was just about to look him up.
That crazy conspiracy guy's always screaming.
No, I may not.
Look it up. You've seen his face before.
I might. That's why I'm looking him up now as a picture.
He's ugly. Really crazy.
Yeah.
But this dude's been on his show, but he has a big audience. But he definitely cray-cray. He was on Joe Rogan. That was pretty fun.
Was he?
I don't watch Joe Rogan that much, but I've watched it a few times when Dan Aykroyd was on and when I've seen some Alex Jones clips and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really watch it. There may have been a couple of others maybe. I don't remember. But been scheduling for October. Got Cristo Rupolo coming on. Curse of the Man That Sees UFOs. He has a documentary. The sequel to that came out called The Man Who Sees UFOs. So I think you're for that show. So if you get a chance to see Curse of the Man That Sees UFOs, I would check it out. I think it's on Netflix. I don't know. I think that it was, unless it got moved off of it. But he did the sequel, Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs. And one time, Christo was standing on the beach with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. Probably not supposed to be telling anyone this. And Christo was giving him crap about being around some shady security people that seemed kind of creepy. Because Tom DeLonge seems to be, in with the government with all that crap. And anyway, Tom was like, Christo was like, you need to get away from those people. And Christo left and found a bug in his car. I'll have to see if he'll talk about that. Maybe.
So what day is his show? The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFO?
That's a documentary.
Yeah, but when is he on the show on with us?
Oh, October 1st.
Yeah, that is me. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
And then after that's Russell Davies, who's from the United Kingdom. He's coming on the show. about UFOs and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some other guests. I forget. I'm trying to remember who next week says. My memory, I have it wrote down. Let me look at the site. I don't know if I've put up their page yet.
Next week is
You got it.
Wild Trees.
Yeah, that's this dude that is on Facebook, and he does UFO interviews. So he's friends with Stephanie Quick and all them.
Yeah.
So I asked him, and I don't know why the hell he calls himself Wild Trees. What's up, Wild Trees? Yo, yo, yo. Wild Trees, MC Wild Trees. But anyway,
and then on the 24th, you got my friend Treva Cooper talk about his theories.
That's right. Straight out of Ireland.
Yeah.
I forgot what time he said that's going to be there, but definitely Ireland representing. He's supposed to send me a bunch of pictures of crop circles and stuff.
Yeah. He's got some really cool connections with Egypt and the constellations, and I've been in the group that he's in for a long time, and there's so many different layers to the ancient stories that we probably will never ever know the whole full story. But whatever history we know now is not even the top surface of it. I mean, there's so many layers to it.
I'm gonna cuss out this dude if he don't. If I told you the link would be sent 8 p.m. Eastern or a few minutes after when we originally spoke, hope all is okay. He ain't coming now. You know what? I mean, I don't know. He's not saying anything.
Is he back on?
No.
No.
Oh, well, we might as well just plan on him not showing up is what I'm saying. I don't care. I mean, something may have happened. Maybe he'll show up, but I'm not going to let it mess with my blood pressure. I got enough blood pressure.
Yeah. Mine
saying?
is up enough as it is already.
Yeah, things seem crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like this? How do you like this Biden presidency?
Oh, I'm scared poopless. Honestly, this stuff that's been going on with Afghanistan. I was on with Joe and Michael Angley the other night, and we talked about this, and it's just I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I mean, they took over our Air Force base over there. They captured millions, probably billions of dollars of equipment. And then there's like a video that went through Facebook this afternoon of these guys they were inside the compound of Bagram Air Force Base, showing all the hand weapons they got, like piles and piles and piles of M16s and grenade launchers and M249 saw guns and armor, bulletproof armor, helmets, backpacks. And I don't know what they're saying because they're speaking Arabic, but I'm sure they're like, hey, look at all these new toys we got and can't wait to use them on America or something. Who knows? But I'm scared.
So, I mean, what are you scared for? They're not going to come over here. You think they're going to fly a plane over here?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They got a whole bunch. Joe was talking about this on his show. They got a bunch of our bombers. They got B-1 and B-2 bombers. They got countless helicopters, Black Hawks and others. So, yeah, they absolutely can come over here. All they got to do is fuel them up and get some qualified pilots, and boom. I don't think they're going to bomb us. I don't think they're going to land troops, but, they could certainly cause all kinds of havoc and harm.
Yeah. Well, both sides suck. I think both parties are pathetic. Our government, I don't even like them.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with you.
So anyway, I mean, it's great. We have freedom of speech and everything, but I still don't like them. And do we really have freedom of speech? That's like lately with all the YouTube crazy stuff and all that weird stuff going on. It don't seem like it.
People getting banned on Facebook too for just saying stupid things, and not even just stupid things, but factual things.
Things are really weird. And I know if someone was watching the left side news and the Democrat news, they would find stuff. I'm sure the right people see crazy stuff on that side, but I get to see the right-wing news every day where I work at before it's news. And basically, from what I've seen, is Trump spawned these certain personalities who adore Q, and these people are just making up crap. Like, they're just making up stuff that's not true at all.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's going to be reinstated. That's not going to happen.
It's impossible. It can't happen. I mean, what can happen is a possibility of Kamala and Biden being impeached for whatever, but they're not going to reinstate Trump. The only way he can get back in is through a full-on election. He's got to run.
They like the My Pillow guy. Why the hell does anybody like the My Pillow guy?
That's weird. Yeah.
You like the My Pillow guy?
No, and I'm afraid to even try the My Pillow pillow. I'm afraid to deal with bed bugs or something.
Crazy as hell. And the thing with Trump that I don't get, and the My Pillow guy, is a lot of their stuff seems to lead to not really wanting a democracy in America anymore. From what I hear, that's what they were saying about the My Pillow guy, that his beliefs and stuff seem like they want a God King or something. They don't want democracy. They want something like a Putin or like white Saudi Arabia, where Trump is just like God King forever and his dynasty. And it really, I think Trump would love that. But
it would go well to stroking his ego.
But that's not democracy. What America's built on, that's crazy.
Well, what I can say though about Trump is that Putin's afraid of him. We were talking about this with Joe the other night. They interviewed Putin and they asked him about Biden, and he said, "Oh, it's great. Now we'd have no worries about America." Before, when Trump was in office, he was worried that Trump might just, go batshit crazy and push the wrong button and launch missiles at him. Same with China. So China was afraid when Trump was in office. And you go back into the 80s, like the whole world was afraid of Reagan because he was senile. He was starting to, go downhill in the second administration. They were afraid he was going to go doot and launch missiles everywhere. So we were safe under those administrations. The reason why you asked me about Biden, I'm scared, is he's not a strong president. And people look at that as a weakness. They could easily attack us in hopes of, taking over the country.
Yeah, he's a puss toot. I don't really like him. But as far as I don't really like Democrats either. I certainly don't really like the Republicans either. I don't like any of them. I don't even like libertarians.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Libertarian Party, and none of them are any good. I mean, if I were to vote, party lines, my vote would be wasted. They will never get in. They don't have enough popularity.
Why wouldn't they have like little speech things for their candidates? People show up naked and stuff and run. What's going on there? I swear it's happened.
If you want to have people show up to your rally,
naked,
throw a bunch of naked dancing girls on stage, boom, people show up.
There's like naked candidates. I like South Park. They're libertarian. That's the only thing good that libertarians really got going for us. South Park.
It was a funny show. And the comedy there is really good, but the animation is so bad. I can't stomach watching it.
I remember scientist Joe Resnick telling me once that something in the government was listening to the show. They didn't like me because I wasn't patriotic. I should say God bless America after each show or something crazy. And he said they're watching me. They know every time I flush the toilets. And then what's so weird is I found a $2,000 credit on my phone when I was going to shut my phone off.
I remember
that story.
Yeah, I remember
that. Was
that.
Shortly after that. And it was like, someone put that on there to keep listening to my phone, and it was no one I knew. Yeah. It was probably some weird clandestine agency because of UFOs or whatever. I don't know.
NSA.
But I just know $2,000 was on there from nowhere. I got them to send me a check of it, and I went on a shopping spree and paid land taxes. Yeah. Turned the phone off anyway. Got a cell phone, which I'm sure they just listen to that now. Thanks, America. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate it. But
patriotic.
But that is the weirdest thing I've ever happened with weird government stuff, to where I think for sure they were listening. I don't do anything illegal. Well, I don't do anything illegal. There's no reason for police or anything to be watching.
Me either. You remember the story I told you? It was years ago. I told you about the story when I came home from the bar at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. Some guy from Chicago called me up threatening my life that I would be talking about UFOs and my dad's top secret stuff, which I didn't know what my dad's top secret stuff was, just that he did top secret work. And this guy's on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning threatening my life. And like, he didn't actually say that we're going to kill you, but wording like, you won't be able, you won't come back, and that kind of thing. It was weird. But then I wondered how they heard, because I don't remember if we had cell phones back then. It was back in the mid '90s, so it's possible there might have been a cell phone there. I don't think I had one. But so they must have had my clothes bugged, because they said specific things about the conversations that I had in a bar in Savannah, Georgia, that only like 3 people were involved in the conversation. And then they called me and threatened my life, and it was the weirdest thing. And I called the cops, and this Georgia State trooper shows up at my house at 4:00 in the morning, and when I'm talking to him and giving him the report, this guy calls again, and he wants to talk to the policeman. So I hand the phone over to the policeman, and the policeman started smiling. The guy threatened the policeman's life. So that was the weirdest thing ever.
It is weird.
So that's Illuminati for you.
Well, me, I've been having weird health stuff with my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And there's the dust mite things. I want to start sitting in on some of the panels that Joe does, and I've been talking to Christina to do it too. I'm going to do it eventually, but the main thing right now is I got to test out this other mic in the other room, make sure it works while I'm in here. And then the other thing is just energy. Like, I've had this weird draining feeling. I've wondered if I had COVID or something. I think I
that
do.
Too. Yeah.
I think everyone gets paranoid about it, but everyone tells me if I had it, I'd be in the hospital, which is not necessarily completely true.
No, there's been
different levels.
People.
There's different levels of it.
Yeah, there's been asymptomatic people walking around with it, didn't know they had it, and then for whatever reason they had to get tested. And it was like, wow, I had COVID, and I didn't even go to the hospital. So
I felt so drained from whatever's going on with me. It's like my personality's gone. I need to sleep for a week or something. Trip on something.
Take a sabbatical and a couple hits of acid and just black out for a week.
Sabbatical and some LSD. There's no guest. The Illuminati took the guest.
Yep.
He's gone. There's no guest. So we're doing an Illuminati show. ILLUMINAUGHTY. Illuminati.
Yep.
Illuminati. But anyway, been watching. You got HBO Max?
Yes.
Dude, we're watching Doom. Me and Christina are watching Doom Patrol. You got to watch that. That show is really good. It's DC. It's DC.
Yeah.
Brandon Fraser's comeback. He's a robot on it.
Yay.
Timothy Dalton.
I like him.
There's some chicks. I don't remember their names. One turns into a blob. The other one has like a million schizophrenic superpower personalities.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, there's a weird gay guy that has an energy thing that's in his body. It's basically about a freak show that are superheroes, and it's crazy as hell. There's a donkey. If you go through its butt, you go to another reality. Here's the other thing. Alan Tudyk's in it.
Oh, nice. I love him.
He's the villain, Mr. Nobody.
He's the what?
The villain, Mr. Nobody.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to give away too much, but they go down to like Argentina or something, and there's this crazy Nazi mad scientist, and if you pay him, he will turn you into a superhero or a villain, whatever, or villain, I don't know exactly. But I don't want to give away too much, but it's crazy as hell. There's 2 seasons. The 3rd season starts in September. And then, of course, we know Brendan Fraser from The Mummy.
Yeah.
And so many other things. He left Hollywood because he was sexually assaulted by someone.
Oh, wow.
And he basically, they didn't believe him, so he quit Hollywood. Now he's back and having to come back, and everybody's welcoming him, and he's like crying and stuff, which is good. I'm glad he's back. I like him. He's like this.
He did Dudley Do Right. He did a couple of cartoons from the 70s as live actions. The Mummy movies, of course, and then he was in a couple of those dumb movies like a Caveman movie and some of those other. Oh, I don't remember that guy's name. The actor that was Pauly Shore. Yeah, he was in a couple of those dumb Pauly Shore movies that weren't so great.
Yeah, he's a good actor, but I mean he's doing a good job in this. And he's basically this race car driver that's kind of sleazy, and something happens to him, and he turns into this robot. And the robot's like all conflicted and pissed off and misses his family, and they think I won't get into it, but I'm telling you, watch it.
I'll check it out. I got HBO.
JoJo, Doom Patrol, DOOM Patrol. Watch it.
Oh, look at it after the show. Definitely.
It's really weird. I like it. makes me want to read the comics. But they kind of look like they're hard to find. So maybe there's a trade paperback.
Yeah, you probably find a graphic novel somewhere that has compilations of them.
A lot of times it's best just to do the graphic novel because the rest is too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have the room. I mean, like back in the '90s, I was collecting comic books, and I've had at one point like 6 or 7 huge comic book boxes, and I put them on museum quality cardboard in a plastic bag, and some of like the certain collectors editions I get 2 of, one to read and one to not touch, and it takes up a lot of space. They are expensive, and I gave up. I wanted to collect all the X-Men books, all the Spider-Man books. Certain Batman books, all the Superman books, and like certain things in between that kind of tied in. Like a lot of times they have main stories like with the X-Men. There might be a story that ties in with Silver Surfer or one of the other comic book characters, so they have little tie-in books. So I'd have to get to all those to read the story, and by the time you're done after a year, you got 75 comic books.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. Spawn has like 300 something. I started trying to get those. Like, oh, give up. This is hard.
Yeah. I think I have the first year of Spawn, and that's it. And then a lot of them had like the holographic covers, so they're kind of collectible. I don't know how much they're worth, but
you still got them?
I think so. I haven't looked through what I have, and only 4 of my 6 comic book boxes made it from the move, so I lost some. But if what I think is in there, I have the first 2 years, definitely the first year, but maybe the first 2 years of the redo of Shazam, Captain Marvel. Which were really good. The graphics on them were fantastic. Spawn, and I should have the entire series of Amalgam Comics, which is when DC and Marvel combined their characters. So like Batman and Wolverine became Dark Claw, Diana Prince and Aurora Monroe became the Amazon, and they were both losing money. They were about to go bankrupt, so they combined their characters into like I think 8 titles and 12 books each, and then there were 4 subtitles with 4 books each. So it's something on the order like 36 or 40 or 50, novels or comics. And I know those are going to be worth something because the only way you can get those now is through either collectibles or they get the graphic novel that has all of them at once.
I was trying to see if I have blue under my eyes. That's a sign of dust mites.
No, is it? Mine are purple as hell.
Dude.
Yeah.
You might have dust mites.
Well, I've had that for years. It's been like the dark purple ring under there for years. I think it's because of the goggles.
You got any Lysol, bro?
I don't believe I do, but I know where to get some.
You need to get some and spray the hell out of there.
Yeah, wipe my eyes with it.
Yeah, snort it. I used to spray it and walk through it.
Yeah.
To make me immune to COVID.
What's funny about that and aerosols, Lysol, bug sprays, and I don't know how true this is, but it seems factual. On the back of, like, say you have ant and roach spray, on the back of it says it is against federal law to use this in a way that's inconsistent with its product label. So if you take like ant and roach spray and use it on a spider, they can arrest you. If you take ant and roach spray and use it on a bee, it's not designed to spray on bees. It's designed for ants and roaches, right? The federal government can come down and contact and arrest you. Same thing with the Lysol. If you use it like as underarm body spray, they can come down and arrest you.
for the ozone.
I don't know. It just says it's against federal law to use the product in the way that is inconsistent with its labeling. So you can't use Lysol as underarm spray. You can't use bugs. You can't use ant spray on a bee. You can't use bee spray on an ant. It just seems that that's how it's worded. I'm not a lawyer, but
this Wild Trees dude's supposed to send me a bio. I need to get on his tail. Give me a bio.
Did Treba send you one?
Yo, he sure did.
Okay.
He's on his game.
Yeah.
He's on his game. So has he done radio before or anything?
I don't think so. Most of what we do is like, Facebook messengering and things within the groups. So we're in like several groups that are like ancient history and ancient knowledge kinds of groups. And I'm not sure where his focus is. He's planning on getting what he's doing into a book sometime this year. So maybe that's something we can talk about. But there's just some of the correlations that have come through the group and things that I've said. They're like, "Oh my God, we don't think on your level." I'm like, "Well, I know. That's why I joined the group." But he's got some serious tie-ins with certain constellations and and we'll have to talk to him about it. Certain constellations that are in our night sky that are represented on the ground, not just the pyramids, but I mean, like I think it's Cassiopeia and like not the Pegasus, but the big swan. That's sometimes like the North Cross. He's got a whole bunch of constellations that are tied into installations on the ground, either buildings or complexes that either mirror those constellations in the stars, or or are like temple complexes that people would worship. About these places that we now know about, but back in 2500 BCE, they didn't have telescopes. They didn't know. They knew the names of the three stars in the Orion's belt in such a way that, and I forget what the three pyramids are called, but it's the stars are Alnitak, Alnibaum, and I forget the third one. But the pyramids follow that same naming pattern. There's two of the same letter and one of a different letter, but they're all very, very close. And it blows the mind that people 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 years ago had ideas about stars that we didn't know about until just these last 2 centuries.
Somebody just wrote me.
Oh.
Maybe it was not him. I don't think it's him.
It's a John Deere letter. I'm not coming on the show.
No, it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
It's my lovely, beautiful fiance, Christina.
Okay. Hi, Christina.
That's who it is. I thought it was him. But, no, I didn't. I don't think he's coming. So,
yeah, I don't either. I think
but
he's
if you see an IM when you're already freaked out and anxious because of him not coming to begin with, you're going to think it's him, no matter who you are.
Right.
But now I just don't care. I'm trying not to care because I think he might just have a technical problem, or maybe he's just got weird about time. Because we weren't that late. We sent it like 3 minutes after or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or I told him it would be there shortly and told him it would be a few minutes after. So who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe
but
he
anyway,
Illuminati.
It's only been 32 minutes. What are we going to do?
I don't know. This is your show. You can do what you want.
Let's just do nothing.
Yeah, we can do that. We can. I got some macaroni salad. I can share with the audience.
Let's just do nothing and be.
we can all share this delicious macaroni salad.
Jay's eating Amish macaroni salad. You like sneak bites of it on there?
When I go like this, yeah, I'm sneaking bites because I'm hungry. I haven't had chance to eat dinner yet.
But the thing is, I had some of that recently, but it's a different brand. Amish macaroni.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Earlier, I had some
country man. I'm right in the middle of it. They're all over the place up here.
Earlier, I had some chicken Alfredo from Pinello's. It's a family-owned Italian place. Really good. Really good. But Doom Patrol is where it's at. Oh, I know what we just watched. The Green Knight. That was really good. It's a new movie.
One of my friends watched that and said some really weird stuff about it, and I'm not sure I want to watch it now.
Dude, watch it. It's weird, but it's so weird. It's got great reviews. It's good.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, but my friend said that there's like a scene in there where like he spunks on the ground. And it's not graphic where they show him, but they show the after effect on the ground. And I'm like, ew.
Something weird like that happens. It's with a chick, though. It has something to do with a chick. Like
yeah.
A queen's like trying to like seduce him, and somehow he has a spunk situation. So, yeah. I mean, it was weird, but the Green Knight it had King Arthur in it.
Yeah. Well,
Guinevere.
He's the one that kills the dragon. But are you familiar with the legend at all?
A little, not a lot. I have it in a tarot deck. I know they tell the story.
Because as far as what I've seen on it, at least as far as all the artwork goes, the dragon he kills is on the ground. It doesn't have wings, like the traditional like European dragon that has wings and can fly and breathe fire. It's on the ground and it's short, 2 or 3 feet off the ground and maybe 7 or 8 feet long. So people speculate that he encountered either a crocodile or an alligator, and that's the dragon he killed.
But I thought this dude he fought was like a knight. There's a Green Knight.
Yeah.
Is that another part of the story? The dragon?
I think it's part of it. If it's the same night, isn't the Green Knight also King George or Knight George or something like that?
I don't. That may be different. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I may be compartmentalizing
Saint
two different
George.
stories.
Saint George was the Dragon Slayer, and I think that's a different dude. Because this was a dude that was on. This was the dude. Like what was it, Galahad or whatever that was on our? Oh, Sir Gawain. This was Sir Gawain from King Arthur.
Gawain. Sir Gawain.
There is a round table and all that stuff, but yeah, St. George is a different one. But St. George is pretty interesting. I don't know all of it, but that's pretty neat. There's a St. George Island in Florida.
Yep. Yeah.
Here's the story of St. George, the legend of St. George. Dragon tells of St. George died 303, taming and slaying a dragon that demanded human sacrifices.
Yeah.
And apparently these villagers were given human sacrifices, and St. George said no, 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 and he went and he slayed the dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real or not, but there's a lot of weird history with it or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one I was saying. Yeah, that's not the Green Knight. Yeah, but the monster he slays, or at least in the pictures, there's a few that have it with wings, and there's one where the dragon is about to breathe fire and he's sticking his lance down its throat. But it just was weird. It looks like to me, crocodile or alligator. And then the Green Knight, he had like a fight with Gawain. They got into some kind of scuffle. Isn't that right?
Yeah, the Green Knight, and it's weird because I'll tell a little bit. I don't know if this is in the actual story. Uh-oh, he's here.
Oh, yay.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Joe, let me find Joe. He's Joe. Leo is in the chat room. So let me see. Did he write me? I'm confused. Anyway, let's see if Joe will add him. Hopefully there's no technical problems, which would be more anxious that we don't need to deal with right now. But Joe, if you can hear me. Uh-oh, I hear sirens.
Yeah, it's coming outside my house.
Sirens.
Yeah. That's outside my house. It's walking here.
Let me try to oh my God.
Yeah, they just want to find my front house.
Just pulled up into your yard.
Well, my front yard's up the street, but yeah, they just drove past. Thank God they didn't stop.
Okay, Leo, I got to get a hold of Joe and make sure, let him add you, because you should be in the green room. Shouldn't be any problems. So let me get a hold of Joe, and make sure. I'm sure maybe he hears us, but it's just away from the computer, and hopefully he will add you very soon. So let me add a.
Here comes the ambulance.
Wow, what's going on out there?
I don't know. It's up the street. It's not here. Thank God. Like I said, I'm glad they didn't stop here.
All right.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a fucking ladder truck. Wow, must be a big fire.
Let me try to call Joe. That sounded like it was right outside your house.
Yeah, it went right straight in front of my house. I mean, the street is right. I mean, like we're talking 20, 30 feet right there. So,
well, hopefully it's not a neighbor, someone from the neighborhood.
Hopefully not. Well, hopefully it's not the trouble, whatever it is.
I'm trying to reach Joe, and then we'll add. Hopefully.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Hey, can you hear us, Leo?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Beautiful. Yes, we can.
That's good. That's good. I tried to get on your show, guys. It's not easy. I have a lot of technical issues to get here. Finally, we made it.
Was the link acting weird or something that I gave you? Or
yeah. I just couldn't. I mean, I was there then. You didn't see me for a while, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm glad.
We can work it out now.
Yeah, well, we still got we still got an hour. We got plenty of time. So
Perfect.
we got so I guess Leo, what got you originally started with like researching the Illuminati and everything?
I'm not an Illuminati researcher. I actually my story is a little bit different. Nowadays, I'm of course a writer and a journalist, and I publish many books on the topic. You can find, of course, such books linked at lyonzagami.com. But in reality, when I started these Illuminati confessions, I came out of a specific lodge, and it was due to my personal experience in my younger years, between the years of 23 and 36, when I eventually decided to walk out of it.
Okay, and we were talking earlier, me and Jay had been talking about Illuminati a little bit, and I don't know a lot about them. I think they exist on some level, but I noticed that there's some weird cult that calls himself Illuminati that bothers people on Facebook and does weird stuff. I know that's not the real Illuminati. That's some weird, I don't know what the heck it is.
Basically, they've been bothering me for a long time because basically they use my image often as it's associated with the Illuminati, and they're trying to sell some kind of product, Illuminatium, some kind of book, gadgets. They are apparently linked to the Nigerian mafia. It's a Nigerian scam behind it.
Oh, okay. Weird. Yeah, it is weird. They've wrote me trying to get me to join, and I mess with them. All my friends make fun of them, and, we post the messages on Facebook laughing and stuff like that. But I didn't think it was the real Illuminati, the knockoff. Like Jay said, if it was real Illuminati...
The real Illuminati, that, of course, is a much more serious topic, is something that is connected with a number of secret societies, and of course there is the specific order of the Illuminati that Adam Weishaupt, but that didn't really last historically a lot because it was immediately persecuted, and so basically they decided to then take on other names. Then there is, of course, the Illuminati that exist in the mystery schools of old since the times of Atlantis, but there is a more esoterically inclined part of the Illuminati and a more politically inclined part of the Illuminati, and within these parts there is also, of course, the esoteric part which sometimes can become also involved in the dark arts and so on, black magic. And so there is, of course, it's a very complex topic. That's why in my books I describe it very much in detail, using also documents that can prove the existence of such groups.
And they're never in the spotlight. I mean, do we know any names of people who are in it or anything? They're pretty secretive to a point. They're not like any kind of spotlight at all,
the
right?
Illuminati themselves are simply agents working for the Jesuits. So then behind them you have the puppet masters of the Illuminati, which are the Order of the Jesuits, the Company of Jesus, which is an important order of the Catholic Church that at the present has even a Pope that is a Jesuit in charge of the Catholic Church. So there is a connection between the Illuminati, certain branches of Freemasonry, and of course a variety of sects, cults. Most notorious one here, I guess, in California, where I reside, is the Ordo Templi Orientis that was linked to Aleister Crowley. So these are, let's say, the topology of the Illuminati. It's well described in a document which I translated and published for the first time in the English language in volume 1 of my Confessions. And in this document, you have basically the specifics of each secret society and the differences between the aims of the different branches of the Illuminati and how they infiltrate then various organizations and they use them. So there is a very complex structure, but if I had to be overly simplistic about it, I would say that they answer the orders of superiors, which are both in the Jesuit world and also in the Sabbatean Frankist world. Sabbatean Frankists are an heresy within Judaism that was created by a guy called Sabbatai Zevi and carried on by another guy called Jacob Frank. And their practices are meant to be deliberately focusing on the dark arts, on sexual magic, on everything that is deviant, because they think that by increasing the sin within this between the ages, you can increase the possibility. Then you can fast forward to the arrival of the Messiah by increasing the negative effects of the Antichrist, of the satanic element. So that is the Sabbatian Frankist element that was very important, because through that we have the birth of the Theosophical Society, which is also very important for this network.
Definitely weird, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that, that want to bring on all that stuff. I know, Armageddon and the return and everything like that. Do they really control our governments? Like, they're the ones in charge of governments too, like behind the scenes?
It doesn't take much to see it. I mean, you have Joe Biden, who is the second Catholic president in history, and he's now in charge of the White House. I mean,
yes.
Look what he's doing. I mean, and on top of that, there is a topic which I've discussed very much in detail in volume 4 of my Confessions, which is American Renaissance 2.0 and the Missing Link from the Invisible World, in which I talk specifically about the Jesuits and their work with China, since Matteo Ricci, which was one of the first disciples of Ignacio Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. And so the Jesuits have a history of hundreds of years, going back hundreds of years with China, even before it was, of course, communist. And then it was never interrupted. So basically, in 2018, they made an official deal between the Vatican and China, and that really increased also the persecution of the Christians in the last few years in China, instead of helping them out, I guess. So it's a very complex line of work to understand the truth about the Illuminati rather than the myth. It's two things that are very different.
What about Trump? What was he in line with them, or was it something else going on there?
Trump basically his team was more genuine, because Trump is a billionaire that it can't get bought out very easily. It can't be corrupted very easily. So even if he had some connections, the daughter studied with the Jesuits, some of his family members had certain connections, but in reality he was and he behaved like a misfit, and for that reason I think he paid very high. Is wanting to rebel to the establishment. In 2015, I became involved with Trump, and I created Italians for Trump with a guy called Gianmario Feramonti, a very important Italian figure within the political world there, and with another guy, which basically we aim to create this organization to then also influence the Italian-American community with all our contacts we had. And it came out actually to be a very successful initiative. If you Google Italians for Trump or Trampiani d'Italia and Lyon Zagami, you will see that we were the first organization in the world to support Donald J. Trump, even before, just from the beginning of his bid for the presidency. Then, in fact, Alex Jones came to Rome to visit me, and we actually worked together this project.
Definitely interesting, for sure. Well, when it comes to candidates, I don't really like any of them. Jay liked Trump. I like Bernie, which, of course, you're a commie if you like Bernie. But I'm kind of glad Bernie didn't win, because
you see, the thing is with the communism is an ideology created by the Illuminati. I explained this in my books.
Oh, okay.
It's during the time of Adam Weishaupt, a guy from Italy known as Filippo Buonarroti. He basically formulated the basis of what then became Marxism, because Karl Marx later on will be influenced by this Filippo Buonarroti. Now, if you go and Google Philippe Buonarroti, you will see that the guy was born in Italy, but he was then naturalized French during the Revolution, and that he is basically, he says, basically he proposed a strategy that will revolutionize society by stages, starting from monarchy to liberalism, then to radicalism, and finally to communism. So these are the stages. And of course, he was involved in a Masonic lodge initially. Then he went to France. He got involved with the Jacobin Club. He became a friend of the Bonaparte, including Napoleon. And he became initiated, of course, in the Illuminati of the time. And then he formulated basically a book that became a very influential, and that basically was picked up later on by, the book was called De Conspiration pour la Légalité de Babel. And basically the later revolutionists that came after him, they own him a lot. So he's always cited as an important figure. Also by Karl Marx himself, which of course is the guy. In fact, if you go on even on Wikipedia, which is kind of leftist, so you can't get it wrong, if you want to see something that is leftist there. So this Babul, Conspiracy of Equals, was published in 1828. It says, became a quintessential text for revolutionaries, inspiring such leftists as Bianchi and Marx. So this Capital, then, of course, of Karl Marx became the book that inspired, unfortunately, this perverse ideology that eventually ruined Russia and China and every single nation it ever touched as a virus.
So what about Putin? What is he involved with that? What is his allegiances like?
Yes, we can say that Putin works very much within the frames of the New World Order. That's why when you said Bernie Sanders, of course, went during his wedding trip, honeymoon, yes. He went to Russia. He was very much a friend of Russia, and he acted always as an agent of Russia. But I mean, there is a lot of agents of Russia and China in this country. And that's one of the reasons why this country is going down the drain, unfortunately. A lot of traitors. And it's very
crazy.
Sad. Yeah?
It's definitely crazy right now, for sure.
Absolutely.
It keeps getting crazier.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing, I don't know if you've ever gotten to this subject much. If not, it's fine. But I know the UFO subject is heated up a lot in the news with the Pentagon releasing weird stuff. And I've had a lot of people on about that subject. I've had some of my own experiences. I had Captain Robert, Air Force pilot, Captain Robert Silas on, and he wrote a book about UFOs shutting down a missile silo. And he put a book out. He's still enlisted. But I guess my question is, when it comes to Illuminati and these people of power, do you think they have UFO tech, and are they involved in like secret space and stuff like that more than we could ever imagine?
I wrote 2 books on the subject.
Cool.
I wrote one, it's called The Invisible Master, Puppeteer's Hidden Power. This is a very important book for those who want to understand the real nature of the UFOs. And also in volume 4 of my Confessions, American Renaissance 2.0 and the Missing Link from the Invisible World, that invisible world actually links us to the UFO world. And I include also some interesting testimonies. I went myself to Roswell, of course, had some interesting experiences, but most of all, the Vatican has been studying and working for the last 15 years intensively, probably for the last 20, on and off on the construction of a project which has been developing, and this project, CHIFAS is called, is basically born out of the collaboration of military and also the Jesuits, who are very much in charge of the astronomical sector of the Vatican. So I've been talking about this link also between certain specific entities of the demonic side with Russia, that there was this connection. This connection also went through the Academy of the Illuminati in Rome, a guy basically called Pier Giorgio Bassi, who during the actual 2016 elections was in Rome with John Podesta, one of the Podesta brothers.
Okay.
And there is a link there that goes all the way back to Russia and the UFO. So if people are interested with that, I would suggest volume 6.66 of my Confessions as another book.
Volume 666.
Yeah, 6.66 is basically a specific book of great importance, and I explain you why.
I'll check it out.
The topic that we discuss is the age of cyber Satan, artificial intelligence and robotics. And it goes a little bit in line with what we saw yesterday, for example, in the first day of the AI day with Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk, as you know, just presented his own Tesla bot, his own robot. But it's also yesterday launched for the first time a new chip, which is pretty much revolutionary. New chip that basically is mega powerful and that will create the most powerful artificial intelligence in the world, because this chip basically learns from itself. Learns and makes the AI evolve. But you have to understand that the AI is not all good. The AI is basically something that will be used in the frame of what we are living now for ultimate control of mankind and for the mark of the beast.
Yeah, even Stephen Hawking said something about that when he talked about alien civilizations, that he said that they may not all be biological and that some of them may actually be artificial intelligences, implying not like the Transformers, the fun little cartoon toys that changed into robots and cars and whatnot, but like actual tyrannical societies that are robot-based intelligences.
Yes, absolutely. That is a big problem, because people have to realize that what was prophesied as the mark of the beast is actually happening now. Mm-hmm. We are led to take a vaccine, force into accepting a vaccine passport, and all of this is part of the Green New Deal of control and great reset of the system. What is being done by the Davos platform with Klaus Schwab and Prince Charles, the idea of the great reset, of destroying a system like capitalism and replacing it with communism by the year 2030, eliminating all private property. And the announcement made by Elon Musk yesterday went in line with all this, because he talked yesterday about universal basic income. He said once the robots will function the way I envision, we will need universal basic income. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious where all this is heading. And of course, I've been fighting for many years the New World Order. I've been denouncing all this, and I will continue to do it. Some people have been able to follow me for a few years, and they know what I'm talking about. Other people might discover my work only now, but they must know that I've been doing this for 20 years, non-stop. And from 2006, I risked my life. I mean, I was then later, after I opened my first blog, I was arrested for espionage.
Wow.
I was tortured. I lost the possibility of ever seeing my son in Norway, many other things. So I risked because I believe that we are in front of an epochal change in which we needed to make choices to divide ourselves from the majority of people that unfortunately will make the easy choice. And the easy choice is, of course, to go along with the herd and and accept a million vaccines one after the other and blow your brains out.
Yeah. Compliance is the enemy here.
Compliance, yes, compliance is the enemy, but also you have to understand that politics that played a big game. You said, one of you said they don't believe any longer in politics. Of course, politics has always been manipulated. Regarding the Republicans, we saw what the neocons did. I mean, if we are in this mess now in Afghanistan, it's because of the neocons. But the neocons were a reflection of the Illuminati. I mean, Skull and Bones, Yale University, John Kerry, but also George W. Bush and George Herbert Bush. I mean, and the grandfather Bush, and then the whole show. And I mean, Skull and Bones is a very important lodge of the Illuminati. So.
Yeah, and you also said how it's like the mark of the beast, what's going on. And some people have said that same thing about the United States. We have our tax ID numbers, our Social Security numbers. They said the same thing. That is also a mark of the beast. Is that?
Well, what's happening here is like when I said Great Reset, it's all connected. You see, in Europe, they are already one step ahead into the oppression level. I mean, for those who are following us from Europe, they know that there is this now this green pass. Green pass is basically to show initially your vaccination status or your immunity from the virus, but later on is going to become like the social credit score system, which has already been experimented for a few years in China. And so we have already here a social security number in the US. So people are used to the fact that they have some kind of social credit score, but that doesn't stop them from going on a plane or accessing to certain services. In China, it actually discriminates. So if you, for example, don't accept and don't work your way through society in the way the Communist Party wants you to, then you get blocked, and you even have a lower internet connection. Now we are starting to see this even here. Some universities are not going to give internet connection to students who are not vaccinated. I mean, wow. We're going to start seeing this discrimination normalized here. We need to stop it, of course. It's very important that we stop it, of course. Personally, I wish things were different and we were living in a different world. But I know that maybe you will hear me better now. Do you hear me better now?
Yeah. You sound good. You sound fine. Yes.
Okay, yes, because I'm just getting my technical side sorted out. Yes, like I said, I think that is a compliance, like our friend Jay said a moment ago, the problem. The majority of people, they don't want to risk their certainties. And we go back to what Plato described in his allegory of the cave. I don't know if you know this allegory. It's about, basically, it's a very simple allegory. There is Socrates inside this cave trying to bring out people to see the light. But the people within the cave, even the ones that you will imagine will benefit from seeing that light, they will always stop you from bringing people to see that light, to have that knowledge, that awareness. So you are stuck into this cave made out of your own securities. Now, we know that this cave has become more and more technologic now. It's a cave now which we bring along with us when we have our own smartphone all day long, and we are facing the smartphone more than we are facing reality. Mm-hmm. So this is what's happening in today's world. It's very sad to see that we are gradually losing humanity by doing this. And all these attempts that people like Elon Musk are doing are in anticipation of the final sellout of humanity, which means transhumanism. Transhumanism is the final stage of this transformation, when the machine is going to be connected to mankind, but also physically.
Yeah. I have to also agree with you on that fact about the cell phones. I've said it before here on the show that we make fun about the zombie apocalypse sometimes, and I say, well, it's already here. You have to do is look out your front door and see teenagers walking down the street with their head, buried into these machines, and like there's nothing else around them but what's in that phone, and it's zombieism.
Well, it is a zombieism, and it is basically a way for Satan and his legion to dehumanize and possess the soul of people. We tend to think about the demonic possession as something out of The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's remember, first of all, that this film was created with the support of the Jesuits. There was actually a Jesuit actor within the movie doing the part of a Jesuit, doing basically himself in a way. There was the main character, which was based on a very important figure within the Illuminati and the Jesuits, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin is, and I talk very much extensively about him in volume 6.66 of my Confessions, is an important figure. Why? Because he was not only a Jesuit, he was somebody who influenced very much culture in the last century. He basically influenced Arthur C. Clarke, 2001 Space Odyssey. The actual movie 2001 Space Odyssey was inspired by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And at the same time, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin influenced The Exorcist, because the actual Exorcist that we see in the movie is based on the figure of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who was a French Jesuit, a scientist, but also a bit of a paleontologist and an Indiana Jones figure, if you want, a little bit like is portrayed in The Exorcist, no? And he died in 1955, but his influence on culture and on what became the turning point of the Catholic Church. The turning point was the Second Vatican Council, which started basically it was projected and launched at the end of the 50s by John the 23rd, Papa Roncalli, and then it was developed by Papa Montini. And Pope Montini and Pope Roncalli were the two first Freemasons after the war of the Catholic Church that transformed the Catholic Church in a Masonic liberal bastion that could then gradually become the stronghold of the future one-world religion. So I hope I can describe for your listeners. These topics are very complex, and I'm sorry they can't be summarized better, but I try to make them simple for
this whole thing, and we were talking earlier before when we hadn't got you on the show yet about ancient history, how there are just so many layers that whatever we know of it in history right now, not only is most of it wrong, but it's not even barely the top surface of it. There's so much to all of it, and the Illuminati have been around since what, at least Egyptian times?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the formula where they dedicated themselves to political, let's say, manipulation schemes and stuff, they have been very active in that formula after Alan Weishaupt in 1776. But the Illuminati existed since ancient Egypt, since even before that, ancient Atlantis. They went through the Alexandrine school in Egypt, which was the school of Alexandria, where you had, of course, the biggest library until it was destroyed, probably by certain Christians in opposition to others, because from the Alexandrian school came the Arian Christian tradition, which was then eliminated. There was, of course, a battle within Christianity right at the start of Christianity, and some elements of the original Christian thought were actually eliminated. So the Arian concept of Christ was based on the belief, on a different belief, a slightly different belief, holds that basically Jesus is, of course, the Son of God, who was begotten by God the Father, but the Arian concept of Christ is based on the belief that the Son of God did not always exist, but was begotten within time by God the Father. So therefore Jesus was not co-eternal with God the Father. Now, certain concepts for the modern man, they don't really, they don't really enthuse him. They don't really, people will just say, who cares? In those days, instead, the people were killing each other for minimal differences also in the theological approach, or the, or the dogmas. So when there was the Council of Nicaea. Council of Nicaea was this very important event that happened 325 years after the birth of Christ. And that was when the Emperor Constantine then made Christianity the religion of the empire. And it took a number of years and another couple of councils to actually then create Christianity as we know it, because it was still scattered through different beliefs. And certain beliefs were, of course, completely hidden, like the Gnostic beliefs, or certain Gnostic beliefs. Definitely they were completely, or what we find nowadays scattered in the Quranic, not Quran in the sense of Quran, the Quran scrolls, which were this important discovery that was done in Israel after the Second World War.
Yeah,
so,
and well, also what you said about the Nicene Council is that not only it was the start of how they, I guess, organized the religion, but it's also what they decided what went into the Bible. Because at that point, whatever Bibles were written, and the first Bible wasn't written until at least 120 years after the death of Christ.
Yeah, because like I said, because I think, for example, the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are the ones I was calling now with the Quran caves, scrolls and stuff. They represent a part of the tradition that gave birth to then Jesus milieu, Jesus background, and the Jesus close to the truth was probably a different kind of Jesus, a more human Jesus, but also we have a Jesus that was who had a brother, James.
Yeah, he had a brother. Yeah.
Who had a brother, James, and basically the brother of Jesus. It's always been kind of like forgotten by the mainstream church. Why? Because the mainstream church is built upon the truth relayed from Paul. But Paul is a disciple of Jesus who never met Jesus. He's not really a disciple of Jesus, St. Paul. St. Paul was, of course, illuminated on the way to Damascus. He might have even met Jesus if Jesus, as some say, survived and went to die in Kashmir. But all these things are part of the background which is taught in the Illuminati schools. See, the actual word Illuminati for Adam Weishaupt meant a connection with Christianity, making his followers believe that in some way they were doing the work of the first Christians, because Illuminati were the people who were illuminated were the first Christians. But in reality, he was misleading people. And so there is people that have also abused Christianity and misled people through Christianity. Just as bad as Satanism.
Oh, I have to agree with you. And there's a lot of other layers to this. Jesus had not only a brother, but at least a couple of sisters, I understand. There's a huge group out there, friends of mine on Facebook, that think that he was married to Mary Magdalene. And I believe that that's probably true. And then there's also other groups out there that believe that the myth of Jesus came from Egypt and was the story of Osiris and how he was, his birthday.
The myth is more than the myth. That is a whole story that we can say in some ways is connected with the studies that were done regarding, Osiris, Horus, and all the ancient legends, myths of ancient Egypt. Of course, Jesus went to Egypt. This is in the Bible even. He went, he lived there, and he was probably initiated within the Osiris cult. So he actually himself lived through the same mysteries that were bestowed upon Moses before him, also in Egypt.
Do you think there's any connection between the Jesus myth and the Buddha, Siddhartha? The time frames are off, and because Siddhartha is like 100 years after, 100 years before. I don't remember which, but there's some evidence out there that has like artwork with Jesus and the Buddha, Siddhartha, Gautama Siddhartha, sitting together and chatting about their philosophies.
What is the question?
Oh, do you think there's any connection there? Do you think that they acted? Because we know he went to Egypt, we know he went to other places.
I mean, of course, the actual connection here will bring us to the fact that he didn't really die on the cross, and that is a belief held within some of the mystery schools of the Illuminati. Basically, that basically he didn't die. He was brought to this burial place that in reality became his healing location, owned apparently by St. Thomas of Arimathea. And at that point, then he didn't die. He rather, actually, from my own studies, because I went down to Egypt and studied in the Coptic churches to find archive material and testimonies. And I found out that Jesus survived. Apparently, went to Egypt for a period of time, and then from there, from the Nile, he went down. He left and went down to India. Ended up in Kashmir. He spent even some time in Tibet, and there is apparently some testimonies of this period of Jesus. Of course, people would say, but this destroys the whole miracle of resurrection, and so they become very much. They become very much. How you say? It's difficult to make them understand this concept. For example, for the Muslims, it's more easy because the Muslims don't accept that he was crucified. So Joseph of Arimathea, who was his, I said Thomas before, sorry, Joseph, sorry, because I get confused here with English and Italian. But Joseph of Arimathea apparently was the figure that helped Jesus escape his destiny. He's very much known because in the Bible, there is that thing in which, Jesus says, basically, he is described in various points of Matthew, of Mark, of Luke. So, I mean, he's very much present in the Bible. But Joseph of Arimathea is venerated as a saint by the Roman Catholic Eastern Church, and apparently he was very active in India himself. And so the Christians in India apparently have a very ancient root. And there is a lot of things that are said about this figure. But the fact that Jesus didn't die doesn't mean that he didn't have the miracle of the resurrection. The miracle of the resurrection means that he came back to life after visiting the dead. I mean, if we have an experience like his, a near-death experience, we can say that maybe he lived through that resurrection, and he came back, and then he went on with his life, but at that point in hiding, because of course he was an enemy of the Roman Empire. And
I have to agree with you. He may not have actually died, but had a near-death experience. And we've got other stories. You've got several Greek myths of tragic heroes going to the underworld and coming back. There's even one in the Sumerian where Gilgamesh goes into the underworld with his friend to help find his family.
So when you tell me about Buddhism, Buddhism, is a very vast topic because there is many different kinds of Buddhism. First of all, And I think that when it comes down to Jesus, we have definitely some similarities with Tibetan Buddhism in the story that talks to us about the three kings that go and find him when he's born and recognize him. It's almost as like they're recognizing a reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens even these days with the lamas are found. There was a lama that was found even here in America that now went back to Tibet and goes regularly to Tibet, and it's been but he was found here in America. So why not finding him in the Middle East? He probably is though very much superior to any bodhisattva that we know within the Buddhist tradition, because he manages to radically influence the whole of the Western world, and the Western initiatic system becomes, through the first early Christians, also connected to that other fraternity, very mysterious, of the Rosicrucians, which is itself apparently connected to a more to the early Christians in Egypt, and a figure known as Ormus.
There's a great follow-up question I have for you on that, because you brought up a lot of different subgroups like the Skull and Bones and the Order of the Jesuits. We know that the Illuminati go way, way, way back, even as far back as Atlantis, maybe further. So there's a society that Hitler went after, and you also mentioned the Aryan Jesus myths earlier. There's a society that Hitler found called the Thule Society, Thule. How related is that to the Illuminati thing, and what exactly did that mean? I mean, we talked about this on the show before. The Aryans, the Germans, the whole spinal solution in World War II. How involved was that? Is the Thule like a skull and crossbones kind of thing as part of the Illuminati, and what all happened with that?
You're asking me what is the exact question? Sorry.
Well, back in World War II, Hitler found.
The Thule Gesellschaft. Okay, the Thule Gesellschaft was founded in 1919, and it was basically a creation of Rudolf von Bottendorf, not of Adolf Hitler. He was part of his. No, he became part of it. Rudolf von Bottendorf was connected to the Illuminati of Islam. He was connected to Turkey. He actually ended up living in Turkey for many years, and he was connected to the island of Salonico. And basically what happened was that the Ottoman Empire was had fallen, and wanted to take revenge upon certain elements in the Jewish world that they said corrupted the last sultan. At the same time, they wanted to take revenge upon the Anglo-Saxon world. And Rudolf von Bottendorf was, though connected with the SRIA, the Society of Rosicruciani in Anglia, was connected to the Golden Dawn, which were the Illuminatis of that time. And so definitely he brought to the equation something new that Hitler used later on, which was this book of operative Turkish masonry. And what was it? It was basically an esoteric interpretation and use of the Quran, the Holy Quran, that in the hands of Hitler gave the possibility to this man to develop his psychic power and his magnetism that he used then later on in his gatherings. So actually the fact that he was part of this Thule Gesellschaft might be just in the early phases of his career. But that was very important because also the first publication of the National Socialist Party was created by Rudolf von Bottendorf. So definitely the Illuminati had a very important say in the very early days of Adolf Hitler's rise to power, and also part of the Masonic establishment, because in Germany, Freemasons were divided between ancient Prussian Masons who were anti-Semitic and prevalently Christian, connected to the rite of strict observance, which later became the Swedish Rite. And then there was another part instead that was connected to the Jewish world, more open and working with the United Grand Lodge of England. So there was also a conflict within Freemasonry. That's why Freemasonry after the war was unified in Germany, and they created the unified Grand Lodges of Germany.
Do you think we're seeing those same patterns, those same pre-World War patterns again today? What our audience may not know. So pre-World War II, what Hitler did was he gathered all these people together under him, like these very, like you said, charismatic people. And Hitler was very charismatic. I mean, an evil man, but he was great orator, great speaker. And I don't speak German enough to know exactly always what he said. But he went after the guns. He got the citizens' guns away from them, and then he took over the entire country and almost the entire continent of Europe. And it looks like we're getting that same thing here. We've got, they went after a certain group. That was the Jews. Now we got people here going after our guns. That's Biden going after our guns. Then we got people going after certain groups. Those of us that haven't been vaccinated are part of that Jewish group. And I think that pattern is reoccurring right now. Do you kind of agree with that?
I know that we are living in the end time scenario that was already prophesied. And so it kind of it's pretty normal if you follow a Christian mindset to know where you are right now. I mean, the corruption of the Christian faith, at the same time, the rise of Islam, the corruption of the Jewish faith itself by the Sabbatean Frankists, the rise of Zionism because of the Sabbatean Frankists. All this led to where we are now. And so I will not make it oversimplify it. I think it's always complex. Things are not always white and black, but we can say with absolute certainty now that we are going towards a one world religion that we can visibly see. I mean, it's coming together. The Pope is bringing it together. He went to Dubai. He created this human fraternity document. He then went to the East, and he involved even Buddhism in his project. Of course, Buddhism, as I said before, it's a very wide reality, because you have the Buddhist, the Tibetan or the Indian Buddhist or whatever you find maybe in the Indian continent is very different from the Zen Buddhist or what you find in Japan. I mean, the Buddhists have a lot of differences, but one thing is for sure, that this, for example, present Dalai Lama has destroyed the concept of reincarnation. He has actually announced that he will not reincarnate, and he destroyed his own faith. He sabotaged it because, of course, he's part of this new world order project himself, and we know that Adolf Hitler was very much into discovering certain mysteries. Now, before we talked about, for example, Thomas the Apostle, and he's connected to certain mysteries, to India and stuff. But then in India we have also the whole division is in caste, and that is also something that attracted very much Hitler. At the same time, we have the Holy Grail, and Joseph of Arimathea was connected with the Holy Grail, like Glastonbury and all that. And we know that even from the Indiana Jones and the Crusade, even from watching those films, we were young. The obsession that the Germans had with the esoteric, especially the SS. So the Illuminati and the Jesuits were inspirational for Hitler, and especially for the Jesuits were inspirational for the SS. Himmler and his work was conducted in a castle, the Wesenburg Castle. And then in the 80s, it was actually Michael Aquino, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, involved with project with MK Ultra, who who then went to Germany and celebrated a black mass in what used to be the headquarters of the SS. So it's all connected in some way, no? Then we have also these lamas from Tibet that were found dead on the ground in Berlin when they were liberating Berlin, So I mean, and the symbol of the swastika is a very ancient symbol.
Yeah.
That the Nazis manipulated and used for their own purposes, changing even the original
meaning. Yeah.
Meaning.
The original swastika is reversed, and its meaning is freedom. In some cases, knowledge, depending on what region you look at. But in the obverse version that the Germans used, it means oppression. Of course, obviously, that's what they were after.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have all that time to go into all the historic links. And sorry if today we are trying to summarize things. Maybe at times it can sound a little bit confusing. I hope not for our listeners. But the Illuminati are born out of the mystery school traditions that are the ones who then gave birth to all the religions. So if we want to really understand the Illuminati, we have to study a lot, because it's not a simple topic as some of the people on the internet would like to portray it or sell it. It's like the Illuminati has become a brand. That's the big. It's a problem. It's a brand. Now, I was lucky in a way. I can say maybe lucky enough that I came out with my revelations in 2006. So I have the credibility of somebody who has showed to the world my connections, the people with documents, with photos, with videos, with interviews, from the interview with Lord Sinclair to the interview with the various grandmasters, to the fact that I was present in gatherings. In fact, I was able to demonstrate the reality of it, and that is important nowadays. That's why I invite people to go and read my books, because we can only scratch the surface on an interview like this one.
Yes, Leo, we really appreciate it. We got like 5 minutes, and I'm just glad we got you on. I know there were some tech problems and stuff like that. Sorry about the dogs, it's thundering, so I had to mute my mic, these bulldogs. But it's been really great, though, and I really appreciate it. And thanks so much.
I hope that the people who are listening today, the ones who are listening, understand that the current world events have a shadow world that is ruling all this, and that to understand this shadowy world is not simple. But the figures, the puppets that, of course, we see on TV have some controllers, some puppet masters. But if ultimately we had to say, who is it, a figure on TV who is actually influential? Well, in that case, I would say the Pope. Or I would say George Soros, for example, who is a Sabbatean Frankist and a very influential figure of the Sabbatean Frankist movement. But there is others also. But then there is a lot of other people who don't really show their names. And so it was very interesting for me to bring their names out in my books, to actually connect them to all the current world events, and to make sure that the people distance themselves from the useless conspiracy theories that unfortunately have also done a lot of damage to all our research. I mean, since this QAnon phenomenon came out, it was a disaster for people like me, David Icke, Alex Jones, and others who have been denouncing the New World Order for 20 years.
Yes.
Because then the credibility goes out of the window the moment in which these QAnon fanatics, they maybe they have some truths that are delivered to them, but there is a lot of lies, and they are misled. And then they tend to mix everything up. And the people, of course, the enemy says, oh, watch these QAnon fanatics, when they maybe are following Lyon Zagami, who's been around for a long time. And that is not really a positive thing. I think we should address the New World Order and the problem of secret societies in our society in a much more serious and academic way, without any superficiality, and including the problem of pedophilia, the problem of sex, that of course use these perversions of sexuality to empower themselves. Even the sacrifice of children or the sacrifice of animals. I mean, you have seen what's happening in Haiti, but people should just, it's very easy to understand why it's happening all this in Haiti. For the last 200 years, voodoo has been in control of Haiti. They have kicked out the French. It was the people who practice voodoo. Voodoo is demons, and demons will never bring anything positive to Haiti. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I hope people realize that. I mean, you can maybe have some immediate turn, people sell their soul to have an immediate advantage. But in reality, they are losing. They are losing big time, and the people around them are losing big time, and so people should be closer to God. I mean, if Haiti, for example, tomorrow morning gave the whole nation into the hands of Jesus Christ and gave up all that black magic, they will have a chance. I mean, that's my opinion, of course.
Well, Leo, thanks so much. And Leo's site's Lyon Zagami. That's LeoZagami.com for our listeners. Thanks so much, Leo. We appreciate it. Of course, it's just the tip of the iceberg. You can find a lot more through his books and more information on his site.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I hope that in the future we can have another chat, maybe when I'm bringing out my next book.
I would definitely love that.
Awesome.
I would really appreciate it. That's great. And I'll be in touch. Be in touch with me when it comes out. I'll keep an eye out for sure, and we'll get you back on and do a longer show for sure.
Thank you very much.
All right. You have a good weekend. Thanks so much. Keep us in your prayers.
And of course, I will keep you in my prayers, but also pray for me, because unfortunately my health condition has made it impossible for me to show myself. And I'm very saddened about that, but it's a temporary situation, I hope, due to a face paralysis, which was induced by bad dentistry. So I have a part of my lower lip and chin paralyzed, and it's a little bit uncomfortable for me actually to even talk. But I hope that next time I will be in video.
That's right. We need that third bald head up here for sure. Have a good weekend and prayers, and please feel better. Happy healing. Take care, Leo.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Good night. All right, everybody. You're listening to United Public Radio 107.7. Thunder's making these dogs bark. Drive me nuts. Luckily, I muted it. But definitely, at least we got him in here for an hour, which is probably as much as you do on Alex Jones or something. So he packed a bunch in there like sardines in a can. So there was a bunch in there. But we'll get him on again sometime for sure when he's feeling better. And we're coming for you, Illuminati. You better be careful. Coming for you. Coming for you, Illuminati. You talking to me? You talking to me, Illuminati? Ain't afraid of you. Ain't afraid of no Illuminati. I'll be kidnapped tonight. But anyway.
They're going to get us both tonight. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. And have a good weekend. See you next week with Wild Trees. I don't know why the hell this dude calls himself Wild Trees, but I'm going to talk about UFOs. Everybody have a good weekend. Thanks, JoJo. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
I got to get rid of these dust mites.
Yeah, I think I might have them too. Now that you brought that up, I'm going to have to look into that.
Thank you. Start freaking out. Paranoid.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I mean, I was trying to figure out why I even, because there was a couple of nights here it was really, really cold, and I was like, maybe it's just that. I've gotten a cold because it got really cold, but no, I think it's something else.
JoJo likes Italians for Trump.
Yeah.
Italians for Trump.
I don't know anybody for Trump anymore.
We just had a guest on. He's Italian for Trump, man. You missed it.
He's an hour, but he's definitely Italians for Trump.
Don't worry, Trump's going to be your next president. Might as well
my gosh.
Well, probably, yeah.
Oh,
They were showing Rasputin, and NBC was showing his polling numbers yesterday.
Rasputin? You mean Putin?
Rasputin.
I call him Rasputin is what I call him.
I have a Rasputin.
And not just them. Rosman was two. There was three of them. They were showing Trump's numbers are way higher than Biden. So
Always have been. I mean, jeez,
it's looking bad. It's looking bad. The old man. I don't know. No man. If they lose the House and the Senate, it could be bad. Especially if they get a supermajority. There could be somebody getting in trouble.
They all
if
suck.
you like Trump, he'll have impeachment on his thing.
He's an idiot. They all suck.
Look, he is an idiot, but we had a much better economy under Trump than we have right now. So
I just felt more secure under Trump. I didn't think
that too.
Blow nothing up, take nothing away, and I can't see Trump doing this thing with Afghanistan. But Biden was just too old, is what the problem was.
Still is.
Well, still is, yeah. But I mean, it's everybody wants to give him hell about, you're doing this. Yeah, and probably back when he was working for Obama, he might have been able to pull this off. But
yeah.
Watch out for Afghanistan.
Oh, well, if they come blow us up, what the hell? See, that's the stupid thing about all the Middle Easterners and even the Russians and the Chinese. They don't understand. Once you piss us off, we become a united country again. Right now, we're all divided, hating on each other.
You just need one unifying event. One unifying event.
We were actually worse than this before 9/11.
Yeah.
And we're getting closer to that again, and something will happen. We'll all be like, what? Wait, you did what? And then we'll kick your ass for 25 years until we finally get tired of it and go do something else. I mean, we've been doing it for 100 years. I mean, it's kind of a pattern these days. I don't even think about it anymore. Oh, wait, did I say that on live radio? Shit, I might get knocked off.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. Oh, man, they might bump all three of us off. Screw it. They're going to get us. There's a secret we ain't supposed to be talking about.
So what did I say in that movie? We're 10-1?
I heard Jeffrey say if it gets any worse, he'll have to vote for Trump.
Yeah. Jeffrey for Trump.
Look at his face.
Jeffrey for Trump.
I should have had the damn thing else. I got to take a picture.
I ain't voting no more.
You know what? If Trump runs, I'm going to make a banner with Jeffrey and Jeffrey for Trump. Jeffries for Trump.
Yeah. Cricket for Trump. He's starting to squirm.
Is your girlfriend a Trumper?
No, she don't like any of them either.
None of them are any good, but one's better than the other. You got to choose one of the bad ones.
She's Italian.
Oh, she's a Trumper then, man.
Italiano. They're very passionate people. They talk.
I gotta be honest. I was thinking about Trump the other day, and I was thinking about Biden right now, and I was thinking about Obama. And I got to thinking, what is really the worst? Was it these three guys as president, or was it just the media itself? Because, I learned something yesterday. So Obama had trained 80,000 troops in Afghanistan. He went and told his generals that's not near enough. It needs to be at least 240, 250, 260,000. So he was constantly overtraining. So, and he was the commander and deporter, even deported more people than Trump did. People don't know that. So what gets me is it's not the president so much as it is the media. Media is trying to dictate what the country believes now.
Absolutely.
If you're watching NBC, CBS,
did you have to see on Facebook today?
If you're watching Fox, you're already brainwashed.
Well, my dad watched Fox all the time, and I couldn't stand it. He watched it 24 hours a day.
I watch Fox for legs. They get some good legs on Fox. But
but if you watch any of those, and my dad watched Fox all day long, and it was the same stories every hour. It just rotated.
All the only difference between like NBC and Fox and them is their take on the story. But it's still the same bullshit. And some stuff like this Afghanistan stuff, you really can't spin. They just all got to just say, yeah, we love you and go along with it. But really, the media is what needs to be brought into check. I think if you bring the media in check, the country will follow a lot easier. Because they're really the ones being the dividers and quoting people and doing this and doing that, blowing it in your face for 24 hours. I used to love CNN. I became a fan of CNN doing the Desert Storm. They had great coverage, man.
They did, I remember that when it first started.
Job. So I figured, all right, these are good guys, but now they've become so left-wing that it's not even worth listening to. It's like listening to Fox in reverse. But there are media out there, people. There are Democratic medias that you can watch that are pretty good. There are like One American News and BBC America where you can actually get decent right news without the crazy shit that goes along with it. You can do that for the left too. So, right now, guys, I don't want to tell y'all like alternative news because that might be a little, crazy stuff like what Jeffrey works with. But but really, from both sides of the media, there is good news for the Democrats. It's good news for the Republicans. I mean, you can go listen. They're actually talking about the events, things that are going on. They're giving you just the news, not trying to tell you believe this or believe that. So there actually is a few of them out there that still do that. But the big names are the ones that got everything because they're cable and they sensationalize everything, man, everything. If it ain't sensationalized, why put it on TV? I'm telling you, next thing you know, we're going to see Jeff up there with some fake boobs and some long blonde hair. Oh, I was thinking about this the other day. I need a date to this gala, Jeffrey. Let me buy you a wig and buy you a gown, man. Take you to the ball. You ever been to a ball, man?
Show me the money, baby. Show me the money.
Hey, Joe, did you happen to see on Facebook today a video went out that was from, I believe it was a video from inside Bagram Air Force Base where these, I guess they're Taliban, Saudis, Arabics running around showing all the video of the captured equipment and weapons they had. I mean, piles and piles of guns and
they got all kinds of
armor. Did you see it? Oh my god!
I don't know if I've seen that one, but I've seen one or two like that, and I've seen the generals are pissed. They want to go get their stuff, and Biden's like, no, man, let them keep it.
Millions of dollars worth of equipment, guns, weapons.
Last I heard, we're leaving behind like $3.5 billion or $4.5 billion. But there's some of this stuff we don't want falling in enemy hands. So I'm kind of confused why we left it.
It's weird.
It's crazy. Nuts.
Because we got a Chinese guy running our country.
Yeah.
He's just disguised, man. I bet he speaks good Mandarin.
He does. Yeah.
I bet he does.
For China.
But let me let Jeffrey have his show back so I can start the next one.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
It's raining bad here. All right, take care. All right, bye, everybody.
I'm gonna go get a smoke.
Here.
Rain on